Hi everyone. So in today's session we will discuss about the tissue culture laboratory and its equipments. Let's begin. So before that we will come to know what is tissue culture. So tissue culture, it is an in vitro cultivation of the plant cell or the tissues. Okay, so it is an in vitro cultivation of the plant cells or the tissues under the environmental conditions, or you can say under the controlled environmental conditions. Okay, so what is tissue culture? So you can say like this also, where the cells, tissues or the organs of the plant body are grown on artificial nutrient media under the controlled environmental conditions. Okay, so this is known as the tissue culture. So what is tissue culture? So the cells, tissues or the organs of the plant body are isolated and grown on the artificial nutrient medium under the controlled environmental conditions, and also in the nutrient media is known as the tissue culture. So we know that there are many advantages of the tissue culture. So what are the advantages of the tissue culture? Here the micropropagations can be done by using the tissue culture, and production of the haploid plants can be done, and production of the disease free plants or virus free plants. Okay, then also we can produce the secondary metabolites plants with the help of the tissue culture. So if we talk about the tissue culture laboratory, okay, so a tissue culture laboratory is a building where little plants are grown in climate chamber or the growth chambers for the research methods. Okay, so what is tissue culture laboratory? So the laboratory, it is a building where the plants are grown under the climate chamber or the growth chambers for the research purpose, and it consists of media rooms, cutting rooms and growth chambers. So what all the tissue culture laboratory consist? So it consists the media rooms. Media rooms means preparation of the media, nutrient medias. So that room is separate, and cutting rooms are separate, and growth chambers are separate. So in the growth chambers, one can control the temperature, humidity, air, speed, amount of the light and also the nutrients which are being supplied to the plants. Here, the chamber influences the growth of the plant in the positive way, and the required results can be reached faster in the growth chamber because the conditions here we can control them. So mostly the climate and or the growth chambers in the laboratory are situated in hygienically sealed building. Okay, so the growth chambers and the climate chambers are hygienically, they are sealed buildings, and there is no influence of the weather or the daylight and night light pattern, which provides a lot of freedom for the breeding company or the research organization. So this method is chosen when nothing can be left to chance, means when the plants are having no options to grow in the natural environmental conditions, here we can grow them. So hygiene is the most important because the best results can be reached when this part is well organized in the climate chambers and the growth chambers. And how the hygiene is maintained in the laboratories. So by using the air filtration, and if necessary sterilization is combined with the air pressure control in the buildings of the laboratories, and special door technologies are being used in the laboratories to maintain the exchange of the atmosphere which is in the laboratory and outside the laboratory. Okay, so the special door technologies are maintained in tissue culture laboratories, and entire lab is very clean. Okay, so the lab is kept very clean here. Next, moving towards the next slide, that is basic requirements for the plant tissue culture. So the basic requirements in the laboratories, we will need washing and storage facilities, media rooms, sterilization rooms and the storage rooms must be separate in the laboratories. Also the transfer area for the aesthetic manipulation, Aesthetic manipulation means what? So aesthetic means a area which is free from contamination. Okay, so we will need the aesthetic manipulation or aesthetic chambers, and culture rooms or the incubators for the maintenance of the culture under controlled conditions. Okay, so we will need the culture rooms or the incubation rooms, and also we will need a separate room for the data collection area or the observation area, and also we will need the transplantation area at the last, which is the last process of the tissue culture laboratories, as we can grow the explants produced plants here. The first one, that is washing and storage facilities. So what we will require in the washing and storage facilities? So first and foremost, the requirement of the tissue culture laboratory, we will require a fresh water supply and disposal of the wastewater supply. Also the space for distillation unit for the supply of distilled water and the double distilled water. Okay, so we will require fresh water supply, disposal of the wastewater supply, and also we will need the supply of the distilled water, also the double distilled water. If we speak about the wash basin and sinks and the tables, so the acid and alkyl resistant sinks must be present in the laboratories, and also the working table, that also must be acid and alkyl resistant, so it must be free from the acid and alkyl resistance also. And sufficient space is required for placing the instruments like a hot air oven, autoclave, laminar airflow, etc., and also the washing machines which are used for the washing of the apparatus, and pipette washers, and also the plastic buckets or the steel tray for soaking the water from the apparatus. And for the storage of the dried glasswares, separate dust proof cupboards or cabinets must be provided from the laboratory, and it is mandatory to maintain the cleanliness in the area of washing and drying and also the storage. And the next one, media preparation room, sterilization room, and the storage room. Media preparation room should have sufficient space to maintain the chemicals, labwares, and the equipments required for weighing and mixing, hot plate, pH meter, water bath, basin burners with gas supply, micro ovens, autoclaves, etc. Many things are required for the storage of the prepared media. And sterilization rooms means for the sterilization of the culture media, a good quality of ISI mark autoclave is required. Okay, so the autoclave is required of the good quality, and for small amount of the domestic pressures like cookers can also serve the purpose here instead of the autoclaves. For the sterilization of the glasswares and metallic equipments, hot air oven with an adjustable tray is required in the sterilization room. So, as I said, here we will prepare the media in the media preparation room. So, the media contains a sugar. Okay, so it is very enriched with the growth regulators, auxins, and the cytokinins. Also, it contains macro and micronutrients, amino acids with enriched sucrose. Okay, so it contains sugar. They also support the growth of bacteria and fungi. So therefore anesthetic conditions must be maintained in the media preparation room as well as the sterilization room. Third one, that is transfer area for aesthetic manipulation. So here for the transfer of the culture into the sterilized media, the contaminant free environment is mandatory here. Aesthetic means free from the contamination. Okay, so the simplest type of the transfer area requires an ordinary type of small wooden blocks. And small wooden blocks, here we can see the instrument, that is the laminar airflow. And in modern laboratories we have laminar airflows, a cabinet having a vertical airflow as well as the horizontal airflows. So these are the types of the laminar airflow, vertical and the horizontal. So they are arranged over the working surface to make it free from the dust particles or from the micro contaminants. So in aesthetic chamber room we will require the laminar airflow. And in transfer area, the tissue culture techniques can also be successfully carried out in very clean laboratories having dry atmosphere with a protection against the airborne microorganisms. And for this purpose, a sterile dust-free rooms or the cabinet is needed for the routine of the transfer and the manipulation work. So in transfer area and the aseptic chambers, we will require the laminar airflows as it is free from the dust or dust particles, or we can say the micro contaminant. Fourth one, that is the culture room and the incubation rooms. So what happens here, the environmental factors affect the growth and differentiation of the cultured tissues. So the environmental factors affect the growth and differentiation of the cultured tissues. So the incubation chamber or the area should have both light and the temperature controlled devices for 24 hours. And also the AC rooms and heaters are required to maintain the temperature at plus or minus 20 to 25 Celsius. Light should be adjusted in terms of the photo period durations. So we will require both the light and temperature controlled devices for the 24 hours in the incubation rooms. And also we will require the AC rooms, and the heaters are required to maintain the temperature, and the temperature must be around plus or minus 20 to 25 Celsius. And the light should be adjusted in terms of the photo period durations. Okay, and humidity should be in the range of 20 to 90%. And here the shelves should be designed in such a way so that the culture vessels can be placed in the shelves or the trays in such a way that there should not be any difference in the light, temperature, and the humidity maintenance. And a label should be stick on the each tray and the rack and ensure the identity for the maintaining the data of the experiments. And label should have full detail about the date of inoculation, name of the explants, medium, and any other special informations. Okay, so these days BOD incubators with all requirements of the environmental conditions and the maintenance are available in the markets. BOD means biochemical oxygen demand incubators. Okay, so these incubators, they occupy less space and they are manageable with small generators and automatic inverters in the case of electricity failures to maintain the necessary of the light and the temperature conditions. So the BOD, they are nothing but the biochemical oxygen demand incubators. Next one, that is observation or data collection area. So the growth and maintenance of the tissue culture in the incubator should be observed and recorded at regular intervals. Okay, so the growth and the maintenance of the tissue culture in the incubators must be observed and they must be recorded at regular intervals. All the observation should be done in an aesthetic environment. All the observation must be done in area which is free from the contamination. Okay, and that is in the laminar airflow. There must be separate dust free space should be marked for the microscopic work. So in the laminar airflow, there must be a separate dust free space should be marked for the microscopic work purpose. All the recorded data later it must be entered into the computer. Last one, that is transplantation area. So the plants regenerated from the in vitro tissue culture are transplanted to the soil in pots, and the potted plants are ultimately transferred to the greenhouses. And the tissue culture grown plants are allowed under the well humid conditions and controlled temperature, and under the controlled entry of the sunlight they are grown outside the laboratories later. These are few of the basic facilities of the plant tissue culture. And also if we see the basic startup equipments, there are many equipments like glasswares means beakers, flask, test tubes. They form your tissue culture operation as a backbone. The glasswares will be used to store your cultures, and you will use various pieces throughout the experiment and the processes. So you must already know that the maintaining the sterile and contaminant free is very important in the successful of the tissue culture process. So you should always keep your glasswares clean and organized. One of the essential piece of the equipment for any lab is a heat resistant conical flask. So this conical flask is also known as the Erlenmeyer flask. Okay, so this Erlenmeyer, why it is given as the Erlenmeyer? So it was found by the Emil Erlenmeyer, and hence it was also named as the Erlenmeyer flask, which is nothing but the conical flask. So these flasks will be used for preparing the tissue culture media. Here you can see that. The other equipment pieces include a small capacity of the flask and the culture jar. Here the listed equipments will be on your list of the essentials when you start up the tissue culture lab. Next, moving towards the next slide, that is beneficial equipments. Okay, so there are many equipments which are used from the tissue culture laboratories. The first one which we will discuss is the laminar airflow. So you can see the image of the laminar airflow here. This laminar airflow cabinet is defined as an enclosed workbench which is used to create the contamination free work environment through the installed HEPA filters that captures all the particles entering the cabinets. So it is having a special filter that is known as the HEPA. HEPA means high efficiency particulate absorbing filters. Okay, so they are used in the laminar airflow. How does this laminar airflow works? A laminar flow creates a dust-free or bacterial air environments. So the laminar flow, it creates dust-free or bacterial air environment. And the air from the room, it passes through the HEPA filters. HEPA means high efficiency particulate absorbing filters. So the air passes through the HEPA filters. So here you can see there is a filter here, and it is fed into the working chamber by the unidirectional flow. So there is a only one directional flow in the laminar air flow, and from the working area the air is moved back to the environment, and it can be sent to the environment in the way of there is a hole at the bottom of the area of the cabinet, and there from the hole the air is passed through the environment, and also there is a space between the working surface of the table and the protecting glasses. So you can see the space here. So the air, it can be sent out to the environment from the hole and the working area of the surface of the cabinet. And the laminar airflow, it involves the unidirectional exhausting of the air to the workplace and the personal, whereby the filter air is discharged with a regular and fixed velocity. And some of the basic components of the laminar airflow include the ultraviolet rays, glass shield, and air intake fan, a protection plate, and the windows. So each of the components of a clean bench plays an important role in creating and maintaining the sterile conditions. So the laminar airflow, it pulls the air through the filter that is known as the HEPA filters. So they are high efficiency particulate absorbing filters. And these type of the plated mechanical air filters are nothing but the high efficiency filters. And these pull the air out and absorbs the new air inside the laminar airflow. And there are two types of laminar airflows. They are horizontal airflow and vertical airflow. Second one, that is the incubators, or you can call them as the gas incubators. So what happens here, inside the CO2 incubators an atmosphere is created that is as natural as possible to develop the cell and tissue culture. So this way of cultivating living organisms is called as the in vitro, and it is the main application of the CO2 incubators. If we talk about the structure of the CO2 incubators, so the CO2 incubators has an interior which is completely sealed off from the environment to ensure the atmosphere inside the unit which cannot be affected by the external factors. So it is having a interior which is completely sealed off. Most of the CO2 incubators have a glass door as well as the regular doors, which provides additional protection against the contamination. The interior is made up of rust resistant materials such as stainless steels and should have a few sharp edges and grooves as possible to avoid any place where the contamination could be hidden. So we can see in the sensitive field of the cell cultivation, just one single germ can ruin the weeks of the work. So the air coming in the flows through the sterile filters and must be distributed evenly throughout the whole interior. So the challenge lies in creating the quality throughout the entire interior to ensure the uniform supply of CO2 in the incubators for all the samples at constant climate and humidity conditions. Next one, that is autoclave. So what is autoclave? Autoclave, it is an laboratory apparatus designed to use the steam under regulated pressure to achieve the sterilization. So what is autoclave? It is an apparatus designed to use the steam under regulated pressure to achieve the sterilization, and it is essentially a double jacketed vertical cylinder made up of the strong metal. Okay, it is made up of the strong metal and is separated by the case made up of the iron sheet. So this is the case. Here you can also say that as the lid. Okay, so the lid is very heavy and made up of the gunmetal. So the lid is made up of the gunmetal and is screwed by the buffer file screws. So the screws which are used here, they are not the normal screws. So the screws are buffer files screws. Here the cylinder contains water up to certain level and the articles to be sterilized are placed on the diaphragm, serving as a platform situated above the water level. Heating can be done either by gas burn or by the electricity. The chamber is furnished with a steam tap at the top and the pressure gauge with a safety value. Here, the pressure employed in the autoclave is 15 IB or inch. IB is nothing but the symbol of the pond. So, the pressure employed here in the autoclave is 15 pond for 15 to 20 minutes. Under this pressure, the water boils at 121 degrees Celsius. Under the operation, it is necessary that the air in the chamber is replaced by the saturated steam. Otherwise, required temperature will not be obtained here. So it is not the pressure that kills the organism, but the temperature of the steam will kill the organisms. And the time of the operation to achieve the sterility depends upon the nature of the material which is being sterilized in this, and the type of the containers and the volumes for the sterilization by autoclaving, which kills all the organisms including the spores, and the death of the cells and the spores is due to the coagulation of the proteins. Coagulation means it is the process or act of a liquid changing into the solid state. So this was all about the autoclave. Autoclave means it is a apparatus used for the steaming process under the regulated pressure to achieve the sterilization. Next one, that is the hot air oven. So the dry heat or a hot air sterilization is recommended where it is either undesirable or unlikely that steam under pressure will make direct contact with the materials to be sterilized here. So the apparatus employed for this type of sterilization may be a special electric or a gas oven, or even the kitchen oven stove can be used here. The principle of the hot air oven is that the sterilization can be carried out by the dry heat at high temperature, and the bacterial cells and the spore die due to dehydration. So this hot air oven, it consists of the chambers having triple walls, and the inner two walls are made up of the copper sheet and the outer is made up of the asbestos. Asbestos means the sheet is made up of the silicate material. Okay, so the chamber is placed with the several adjustable shelves, and the thermometer is interested to record the temperature. There are adjustable holes which are kept open during the rising temperature, and again they open particularly when the sterilization completes, and clean glasswares like petri dishes, test tubes, flasks, pipettes are placed inside the door, and it is closed. The electric heated is put on, and the temperature of the chamber is opened after the temperature comes down to the normal. And the use of the hot air oven, it is useful device for the sterilization of the laboratories glasswares. It is also used to sterilize the substance which cannot be sterilized by the moist. So this was about the hot air oven. Next one, that is a refrigerator and the freezer. So it is essential for storing various thermolayable chemicals like vitamins, hormones, amino acids, and also the yeast extract, coconut milks. So the stock solutions of salts are also kept to prevent the contaminations. And certain lab materials have to be cooled down and stored in refrigerator or the freezer. We provide the several refrigerator and freezers that can be easily operated and maintained to increase the accuracy of your desirable results. And our high performance refrigerators and the freezers are specially designed for the storage of the laboratory materials which need to be maintained at high consistency and the low temperature. You can also choose from the different capacity, volume, storage shelves, and the dimensions. Amongst the cooling solutions, like lab associates can offer chest freezers, upright freezers, and the refrigerated cabinets. These refrigerators are used for the local storage of the media and reagents. On the other hand, sustainable media, serums, and reagents are to be stored in the freezers also. Next one, that is a centrifuge. So we know that it is a device that uses the centrifugal force to separate the various components of the fluid. So this is achieved by spinning the fluid at high speed within the container. Therefore, by separating the fluids of different densities, like cream from the milk or liquids from the solid. Next one, if you see here, these are the weighing balance. So we know that a weighing balance is an instrument which is used to determine the weight or the mass of an object. Okay, so it is used to determine the weight or mass of an object. So there are two types of weighing balance. They are analytical balance as well as the precision balance. So what is the difference between precision and analytical balance? The precision and the analytical balance are specific type of weighing balance which measures much smaller masses than the average scale. The analytical balance is the most used. It has higher reliability, measuring nearest to the 0.0001 gram, and the analytical balance usually include the draught proof weighing chambers for measuring the mass, and are often used alongside anti-vibration tables to increase the accuracy. Whereas in other hand, the precision balance, it is typically measures to the nearest zero point 0.1 to 0.01 grams, but has higher capacity. So the both the precision and analytical weaving balance can measure capacities from hundreds of grams to kilograms. So this was all about the tissue culture and its equipments. I hope you guys understood well. Thank you.